Let's see, has it started? As you're looking at yours, are we public and going? I'm just gonna get started so we can test everything out and make sure it's good to go. If anybody's watching, we'll see how this all goes. We've never done it before. Is it telling you that we're on?
Not there.
It says one person's watching.
It could be me. I'm going back to here.
I have no clock on my phone, so I don't even, I can't see it.
It is live now.
It is live now. How exciting. 5 people are watching. Hi, 5 people. It is such a beautiful day. Maria is watching. Yay. Hello. And watching.
Both.
Live. Hi, Jenny. Hi, family. Hi, Welchies. Good to see you.
But you can see.
I can see who's watching.
This is new. I can't see who's watching, so.
This is brand new. We've never, ever done this before. I love it. 12 people are watching. I can't tell who all is because it depends on your privacy settings, I think. I'm learning all this. I don't know. I'm making it up. I have no idea. What time is it right now?
1:59.
1:59. We'll get started. Jenny says hi, Amy and Maria. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, family.
I don't need to respond. We can just say hi back.
Well, yes, you don't need to actually type anything there, but as those of you are joining will be able to figure out, we can see what your comments are. Maria's on...
no. Hi, Joan.
Maria's going to be responding to comments and questions so that you can be right here with us in the moment. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Furry Pits. Good to see you. I can't see you, but I'm glad you're here. This is exciting. We're both nervous. I've been teaching for 30 years with experiential education. I've never done a live virtual field trip before.
That's why she's up front.
That's why I'm up front. This time.
This time.
But see, social distance, right?
6
We're
feet.
practicing here. The wingspan of a sandhill crane or a turkey vulture. Less than the wingspan of...
Kimberly says she's watching with Max.
Less, hi Max. Eagle wingspans are 8 feet. So keep an eagle
Hey, Amy,
between you.
We have a robin watching us.
I know, there's robins watching
Okay.
us over here that we're seeing flying around. So when we go for a walk, hi Kathy, hi John. You're welcome, Stephanie. We're excited about this. So we're gonna get going, and here's the plan. We're gonna start by reading a story and doing some bird sounds out here in the Woodland Trail. We're hearing a few bird sounds, and hopefully they'll make a little bit more noise. We apologize that there's some breeze noise that you might hear, but we tested it out. Hopefully you can hear us okay. After we do the book and birds here, we're going to take a walk, see if we can find some signs of birds and habitat where they might be making their homes this time of year. And then we'll go into the classroom and do a science experiment. And hi Mary, hi Nathan. And do an experiment to learn about bird beaks and what they eat. And Mary Kay, hi. Sorry. I will try not to get distracted like that this whole time. Mary Kay's in Minnesota. Yay, thank you for joining us. And then we'll, what we're gonna do. Oh, we've got some bird skulls to show you. And hi Munters. And we're...
I was just gonna say that.
Oh.
Hi, Munters.
And
I'm a little slower on my end.
okay, sorry. Well, I'm going to start reading and I'll stop responding. You can say hi to Nicole.
Hi, Nicole. We miss you.
Oh, we just got some likes and loves. That is fun to see. Okay, I'm loving this Facebook Live thing.
When we can't physically see you, it's the next best thing.
It is. We miss you. We miss connecting. We miss learning and having those wows and ahas with all of you here. So thanks for joining us this way. And before I forget, watch our Facebook page later today because we think we figured out a way to safely bring you here tomorrow on a beautiful day. So watch the Facebook page. Don't just come. Definitely see what we have to say about that, because there are guidelines. Ellen in Alliance is watching. Hi. Yay. Hi, Amber.
Hi, Ollie.
Hi, Ollie. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do the book and the bird sounds, and then a walk on a bird exploration, and then some science experiments. And at the end, we've got some things for you to do at home that you can learn way more about birds than you ever want to know. Hi, Turners. Oh, this is so fun. Okay, I'm going to start the book. Some of you have seen this book before. It's one of our favorites out here because all the birds in this book are definitely part of our ecosystem here in South Central Nebraska. And we are going to learn about their habitat, their adaptations, how they fly, how they live, and then we'll go from there. So, Ellen, thank you. Linda, it's nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Okay, I'm going to focus. Maria might be commenting.
I wave a lot.
By the way, this is Maria. Come on, she's our program director. I'm Amy Sandine. I'm the executive director here at Prairie Loft Center for Outdoor and Agricultural Learning in Hastings, Nebraska, because we've got people from all over watching. This is so fun. And here we go. About birds. What do you think it's about? Okay. A guide for children of all ages, grown-ups too. So here we go, if I can get the page turned. Here we go. Birds have feathers. All birds have feathers. So if something has feathers, it's a bird. If it's a bird, it has feathers. If it has fur, it's not a bird. Baby birds hatch from eggs. Do you know what kind of bird that is? Feel free to answer in the comments if you know.
Hi, Stephanie.
Some birds build nests on the ground. That is an ovenbird. And we don't have ovenbirds around here that are really common, but we have another bird around here called a bobwhite that lives on the ground. It's a kind of quail, and they say their own name. They say bobwhite, bobwhite. Can you do that? Try it at home. Stephanie Furr says robin. Yes. Some build in very high places. Do you know what that is? Bald eagle. That's the one with the 8-foot wingspan, social distance plus. And here's a fun fact about bald eagles. Yeah, right? So see, that's 8 feet, right? Look how big that bird nest is. Now, can you imagine being a bird, that eagle living in that nest? You're sleeping, you're eating, you're doing other things there. Because after you eat, what do you have to do? Poop. Gotta poop. All birds poop. Now, if you're sleeping in your own nest and it's that big, you don't want to waddle all the way over to the edge of the nest. So guess what eagles can do? They can they can shoot their poop.
Amy's favorite fact.
It's one of my favorite facts. I have a lot of them. Eagles shoot their poop. So if you learn nothing else, you know that. And some do not build a nest at all. Now these look like penguins, but it's called a common Murre. And I said at the beginning, these birds live around here. Those ones don't, because they need cold weather. And if you look really closely at that egg, do you see how it's triangular shaped? Do you know why? Do. Oh, people are loving the worm poop. I mean worm poop. That's a different story.
The eagle poop.
Eagle poop, shoot their poop. So that is triangular so that if it rolls, it just rolls in a circle and doesn't roll off the edge into the ocean. Isn't that cool? Easton's watching. Hi, Easton. Hi, Michael. Birds travel in different ways. Totally knew that. Amanda Turner knew that. There's a little bit of a delay, but I love this. So these are Canada geese, and we've been seeing a lot of those, right? So you see how they fly in the shape of a letter V? Here's another fun fact. Do you know why one side of the V is longer than the other? There's more geese in it. Sorry. Most birds fly. What's that? Hi, Ethan. Hi, Emmeline. Line. Hi, Emma. So that is a hummingbird, right? Now the cool thing about hummingbirds is that they don't make the humming sound with their voice, they make the humming sound with their wings, because they beat their wings at 80 flaps a second. And it's so fast in the air. Oh, there's a hawk. Can I turn this around? I can't turn it around. Yes, I can. Oh, it's okay. If it comes back, I'm going to turn the camera around. A red-tailed hawk just flew up.
That was cool.
That was cool. And hopefully it'll come back while we're on our walk. So if you can flap your arms, yes, Canada goose. Thank you, Ellen. Did I say Canadian? Oh, Chaz got the joke. Got it. So if you can flap your arms 80 times per second, they will also hum.
I'm not that good.
I'm not that fast either. But some swim. These are wood ducks, and we do have them around here. They are so beautiful. I think around here we think of birds as being kind of monotone and that colorful birds live in the jungle, but check out that male wood duck. Isn't it beautiful? Now the female is not as colorful, and I bet you know why. They are the ones who protect the eggs on the nest, so they want to stay hidden, where the male is the one who has to be all fancy and attract a mate. I hear a bird.
I hear one too.
And others run. We don't have these around here. It's a greater road that lives in the desert. I love this.
This is fun,
This
guys.
is fun. We're having a blast. I'm kind of punchy right now because this is so cool. 55 people are watching. Thank you. So cool. Okay, and birds may flock together. Can you tell what those are? They're almost all black, but their wings have a stripe of red, and they like to be in flocks together. Sometimes, hi Valerie. Yes, so these are red-winged blackbirds. And we do have, I'm starting to see these around here now and hear them. They kind of have a harsh calling voice, and they like areas where it's kind of marshy. Or live alone. What's that? This is a great horned owl. So cool. And sometimes we do hear these around here. And another fun fact, owls' eyes are so large that if an owl were the size of a human, their eyes would be like a dinner plate. And that lets in so much light that they can see down on the ground even in the dark when they're hunting at night, because they're nocturnal, right? So they hunt at night and they can see little tiny critters on the ground with those huge eyes. And their ears are a little bit asymmetrical, which means they can hear both distance and depth. So they can tell not only where to dive, but when to stop diving so they don't hit the ground. And that's thanks to asymmetrical ears.
And your mom is watching.
Hi Mom. Birds use their bills to gather food. Now this is what our science experiment is going to be on later. That's the hummingbird we saw before, and its beak is like a straw to get into tunnel-shaped flowers. Tunnel-shaped, funnel-shaped. This one is an evening grosbeak. See how it has a seed in its beak? That's a really strong beak, so it can crack open the outside of the shell. This one is a great blue heron. See what it has in its long, sharp beak? Because it hunts in the water and grabs fish swimming in the water. This one is a cedar waxwing. See what it's got in its mouth? It's got a berry. They like to sit in trees and eat berries, so their beak is kind of pointed and strong and small, but not as strong as the grosbeak, which has a nutcracker kind of beak. And cedar waxwings are cool because their tip of their tail looks like it was dipped in yellow paint. There's a stripe right along the edge. And then this here is a Vermilion Flycatcher. Can you tell what it might be called that? What does it catch? Flies and other insects. Just as they're flying right through the air, it'll just grab them. There's a comment that says, "Yum, nuts." I love it. I told you I wasn't going to get distracted, but
You are.
they sing to let other birds know how they feel. That's an indigo bunting on the top. Isn't that beautiful? Love it. And again, this is like the wood ducks, where the male is brightly colored and the female blends into its surroundings so that she's more protected in the nest. Hi, Mark. Hi, Owen. I love hummingbirds too. Birds come in all sizes. Now, we've talked about this a little bit. We've got the great horned owl. It has a pretty good wingspan too, and they're super quiet. You can't even hear them when they flap their wings because of the feathers they have. There's that bald eagle again with the 8-foot wingspan. I just got distracted by a hawk again. I hope we see him on our walk. Here's that great blue heron that we saw. There's that red-winged blackbird. I'm going to come a little bit closer. Indigo bunting. There's that cardinal. Love cardinals. Canada goose. Wind's blowing my phone around. That's the wood duck. And look how many different sizes there are. What's that? Can you see the tiny little hummingbird right there? So small. Look at that compared to the eagle. Amazing. Birds are important to us. And you can help create habitat for birds in your own yard. And we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit more. Oh, I have never noticed in this book, there's a green-crowned night heron. Huh, that's cool. I thought they were all the same kinds of birds that were in the rest of the book.
And how many years have you been reading this?
Years and years. There's a goldfinch and a housefinch and a jay and a bluebird and a sparrow. I'm not sure if that's a sparrow or not. I can't tell. I have never noticed that there's other birds at the end of this book. So cool. Okay, what time is it, Maria?
I have 2:14.
2:14. Excellent. Okay. Hi, Weston. Hi, Owen. Hi, Cole. Oh, yeah. Bald eagles are awesome. And I agree about cardinals, Mark. So we're going to learn about some bird noises, songs, voices, vocabulary. And let's start with, because we were just talking about it.
He's pretty.
He's so pretty. This is a cardinal, male cardinal. It's the bright one. The female is more of a russet brown with a little bit of tinge of red. And there's a turkey vulture. Okay, oh, there's the hawk. Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
Now I want to go on this walk. They're gonna stick around. I think we'll be able to see them.
He went away.
There's the turkey vulture. I don't know if you can see it flying along the edge of the tree.
On top of the pine.
Okay, I'm gonna walk.
Distraction.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna turn this around and see if I can. There's that turkey vulture flying, if you can see it. And there's two hawks. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is so cool. I've never before in my life used a selfie stick. This is crazy. Oh, here it comes. See it? There's a red-tailed hawk there. And there was another one up there. There it goes. Okay, sounds like maybe you could see it. So when we go on our walk, we'll see. Oh, now it's on me, sorry. Hi, Maria. Okay, we're going back to the birds now. This is what we do on field trips, so it is totally like you are just right here, because we might be reading a book, we might be very focused on something, and then a squirrel or a rabbit or a hawk or a vulture or pretty much anything with my brain will totally distract us. Okay, all right, so now it's gonna fly right over us, maybe. I'm watching it so that I can show you if it comes close. Here we go. Come on, come on. There it is. All right, it's gonna hang around a little bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the bird sounds. Gotta be able to see Maria there.
It's hard to read everything and pay attention to what's going on.
Raquel says, well, I'm watching you. I'm sweeping my patio and I have to keep stopping to check out these hawks. And the beautiful thing is that we will be able to, you'll be able to stream or view this later.
Hi, John and Linda. In Michigan.
Oh, awesome. I love it. And Christy in Colorado. And hi, Chris. Thanks for joining us. So those of you who have joined us now, we've read our book about birds. And I was starting to do bird sounds and got distracted by hawks and turkey vultures. This is Maria, our program director. I'm Amy, our executive director here at Prairie Loft. And we're having a blast. This is the first time we've ever done this, and I can hardly wait to do more. So, love it. So, back to bird sounds, songs, vocabulary, language. Cardinal, right? Now, this is the male. It has an amazing crest of feathers on the top of its head. And, hi, Kim. Hi, Briella. Carol, yay, in Iowa. This is awesome. So, okay, anyway, wow. Cardinal says its own name. It's very vain. This cardinal is handsome and he knows he is. So when he sings, he'll often say, I'm pretty, 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 pretty. I hope you can hear that. Can you sing along with it? Ready? Pretty, 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 pretty. Cool, right? Hi, Avery.
Funny, funny bird.
Funny, funny bird.
I like that one.
Yeah, that works too. Awesome.
Thanks, Amanda.
Are these from the Audubon Society? Some of them are. This is the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, which is a great resource to learn about birds. And some of them may be from others too, so I'll check that out. Good question. Okay, another bird with a fun crest on its head is what? The blue jay. Yes. Yeah, you know?
I know.
This is the blue jay. Now, the blue jay is kind of a little bit of a bully. And we see them a lot and we hear them a lot because they have kind of a harsh voice. They say, hey, 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 get out of my way, way, way. I'm a jay, jay, jay. That's a blue jay. Now these don't quite look like the real bird because they're just stuffed animals. I bet you knew that. Okay, Cardinal Blue Jay. Let's go on now to, ooh, this is one that was in the book, right? Do you remember what it was? Maria, do you know?
I've been around here for a while.
What is it?
Red-winged blackbird.
Red-winged blackbird, because it's a black bird with red on its wings. And they like to live on cattails and marshy areas, and they kind of have a harsh voice. I don't know if they really have a word that they say, but this is what they sound like. What do you think that might be saying? You can make it up and let us know if you can think of something that sounds like. So that's a red-winged blackbird. Now this one is a bird that we see all the time, and there's some flying around here today, and they're darker around here. Sometimes in Europe they are a lighter color like this, and this is a saying yikes. Oh, it does kind of sound like yikes.
Yeah. Aye.
Aye.
Goes ee.
Aye. Yep. So this one's a robin, an American robin. They have that beautiful red breast and
I know
a
what they like for breakfast.
dark. What do they have for breakfast?
They like Cheerios.
They like Cheerios. They don't really, well, they would probably eat Cheerios. They're not good for them. But that's what they also say. Do you like Cheerios? They say this. Cheerio, Cheerio, Cheerio. Or if you're down in the dumps, they might be telling you to cheer up, cheer up, cheer up, cheer up, cheer up, cheer up. Oh, Peyton says this sounded like a storm warning.
I like that.
It totally does on the radio. Wow, it's like a weather alert. Good call. I love it. Yes, so the American robin says cheerio, 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 cheerio. Yum. Another bird that kind of sings about breakfast, according to my grandmother. This is the Nebraska state bird. It is the western meadowlark, and it has a beautiful necklace that it wears. And my grandma used to say, it talked about breakfast and said, coffee, pancakes, cinnamon roll. Coffee, pancakes, cinnamon roll. Meadowlark. Let's see, who else do we have here? Okay, this one I bet you can guess what it does when it's looking for food. Can you hear that? Amanda got it right. This is a Downy Woodpecker, and they are small birds. They're probably about this big, and oh, I'm getting a notification on my phone. Go away. They have this fun little red bit on the back of their head, just like some other woodpeckers have red on their heads too. But lots of different woodpeckers are different sizes, different colors, but they all have that pecking sound because they're pecking trees to get to insects. And here's another one that is also a woodpecker, and it's called a yellow-shafted flicker or a yellow flicker. Northern flicker. And look, it also has that little red crown, visor, except that it's on the back of the head, so I'm not sure what to call it. Flickers are woodpeckers. All woodpeckers are flickers, but not all flickers are woodpeckers. Just in case you needed to know that. Now, this one has a call and the sound of the pecking. Listen to this. I hear one right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear that because of the breeze, but there's one probably an acre away right now making that same noise. That is so cool. Now, fun fact about woodpeckers, tongues. This is another almost as good as eagles shooting their poop, which if you missed that part, you might need to go back later and watch it.
Hubert knows this part.
Oh, excellent. See, Hubert's a prairie loft kid.
Yep.
So he knows things like this. So a woodpecker's tongue is super cool because they're beating their head against a tree over and over and over and over and over to get their food, right? Ow. And we couldn't do that. We would give ourselves a concussion or worse. So our tongue starts here at the back of our throat and comes right out our mouth. Woodpeckers' tongues start at the base of their skull. They go around the inside of their skull, and then they can stretch them out their beak. And they do that to cushion their brain like a football helmet. So when they knock against a tree, they don't get a concussion. They don't hurt themselves. Isn't that cool? That's amazing. Oh, Ellen says, so the woodpecker makes the sound, it's not the woodpecking on the wood. Yes, it is. So this one does have these Downy woodpeckers do have a high squeak, but the toy doesn't make that noise. So that is the sound of the beak actually pecking on the wood. This one has the sound of both its voice and, right? Cool. That's how that looks. And its tongue comes all the way around the back of its skull so that when it wants to, it's knocked a hole in the wood. To get the bugs that are inside that tree, it stretches out its tongue like the length of your arm, and it's barbed on the end so it can grab. Maria's my bug. I didn't mean to do that. So it sticks out its tongue and grabs that little bug and pulls it back into its mouth with its tongue. Cool, right? A couple more birds. I'm not going to do all of them. I'll do a couple more quick. Here's a house finch.
That's the better one.
And here's a goldfinch.
You need to do the eagle one.
I will.
Okay.
Pretty little sounds, kind of quiet, happy little birds for the most part. You'll probably see them in your yard if you have thistle seed and birdseed. And then the sparrow also hangs out with them.
Hear it, Amy?
Yeah, I am hearing some other birds. I wish we could see them right now.
I know, I can't see
We'll go on a walk in a minute. Okay, finally, I want you to know, Prairie Loft kids will know the answer to this. What is this? What's this? What's that sound? A lot of people say it's the sound of an eagle, but guess what? big eagles with those 8-foot wingspans actually have wimpy little voices. It's all squeaky. But when you hear this sound, we often think of eagles or like cartoons with big monsters or flying dinosaurs, because TV and movie people like to use a more powerful sound than this. Right? Can you imagine a big old flying pterodactyl going? Not very scary. So they use this sound instead of.
Can you do that again, Amy?
Nope, not going to do it again, Maria.
Ah, darn.
Should we go on a walk? Let's go see if we can find some places that birds might live. And if that turkey, vulture, and hawks are still around, we'll see if we can find them too. So I'm going to turn this around. And you can see where we are here in the Woodland Trail at Prairie Loft. What time is it right now, Maria? 2. Excellent. Okay, so we're about halfway through our virtual field trip, and it is a little breezy today. I'll try to block the sound of the breeze a little bit, just with my hand here. 62 people are watching. Thank you for joining us, everyone. And from what I could see, there are people in Colorado and Michigan and Minnesota and Iowa and all across Nebraska. So this is so fun. This is our first virtual field trip. We hope to do many more. And if we get more days with weather like this, it will be just excellent. And that looks like it's going to happen next week. So please watch for more virtual field trips. We'll do some on food webs and insects and spring on the farm. And teachers, if you have ideas and for themes or requests that you would like to be able to show your students, please let us know what requests you would have for topics. So Maria says she sees a nest up here. Oh, okay, so here's a good teaching moment. So we're gonna go over and look at this nest way up high in this tree. And I bet some of you know what kind of nest that is. It can fool you. 60 peeps. Yes, Amanda. I love it. Oh, I miss you all. So here we are in Woodland Trail at Prairie Loft, and Maria spotted this nest up here, and it's a great lesson because that nest is a squirrel's nest. And Stephanie says it's 3 o'clock.
I have 2:30.
2:30. Yes, John, that is a squirrel's nest. And it's actually just a messy bunch of leaves. And that is how squirrels make their nest. They don't have a long attention span. So they just make a quick little group of leaves. Yep, there, Taryn got it right. And yes, Ellen, we will save this video so that it is able to view later. So you can share it with people, or if you have to go off and do something else, you can view it later, and we will make sure that it's available. Okay, I'm hearing birds. It's a little bit breezy, but what a beautiful day. Unfortunately, we can also hear some trucks backing up because we're a couple miles from the landfill and they're doing some work over there. So I don't know if you can hear that or not. We're gonna walk over here and see
What's making that noise?
what's making that noise. This is our Woodland Trail. Oh, there's a robin on the ground. So I have a special message. I want to give a shout out to Easton and Bo and Luke from Mrs. Jensen. And we miss seeing you all here. I know you had a field trip scheduled to come out and visit us that we weren't able to do this spring. So as soon as we're able to gather again, we'll get you back out here for one of our favorite field trips, because we miss you all. Hi, Arthur. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Hi, Kaylin. So those of you joining us who might not have been here before, this is the first time we've ever done a Facebook Live anything. And we've both been teaching for a really long time. And this feels silly not to have anybody here with us. But it's really fun to know that you're watching and with us the way that you are. There goes a robin. This is a cool old maple tree. Oh, let's look at this. Okay, so...
And we do need to show them the turkey tracks.
Yes. So let's see. Amanda, we miss you too. Yeah, the scenery is pretty great. And like I mentioned earlier, we are trying to figure out ways that we can open up the trails for families and for some solo time for grown-ups. So watch our Facebook page. So I'm gonna try and get this. If you can see, I could see it better from back here. That one broken branch right in the middle of the screen has a couple of holes in it that would make a great home for maybe a bluebird or a sparrow or a wren. And I'll show you what some human-made nests look like for those kinds of animals as well. Hi Zaid and Lena. It is windy at Prairie Loft. Sorry that it's making that noise. So this is a bluebird nest, and this is a good time of year to clean them out from last year. Should have done it last year. Look at that. So you can tell though that what was in here was not a bluebird, because bluebirds have tidy nests. And, whoops, sorry, I forgot to look at what I was filming. And you can tell that this one is kind of messy. So that was probably a sparrow's nest in there. But look, there's some feathers and stuff from last year. And I will come back and clean that out better. But if we get them cleaned out now, then bluebirds are more likely to come make their homes. And it's a great thing for humans to help bluebirds find their habitat. Pretty cool. Okay, so now we're gonna go down Tree Lane. And we'll take about 5 more minutes for this hike. And then we're gonna go do a science experiment inside that you can help us with. The other day I was out here and I spooked a great horned owl. There might have been more than one, or I spooked the same one 3 times. I'm not sure which. But this is great habitat for all kinds of birds, and I'm hearing some starlings. But it's a little bit breezy, so we're not able to hear birds from very far away. And maybe when we go back by the buildings, it will be less windy where you can hear birds better. So this is Tree Lane, and sometimes I'll see turkeys down there. Sometimes I'll see owls flying right down that lane, and hawks like these trees that aren't very healthy anymore, that we're actually probably going to have to take care of just for safety reasons. But you can see that we've got some different kinds of trees out here that provide homes for different kinds of birds and other animals. Now what I'm not seeing right now are good woodpecker holes, and I thought maybe we would be able to find that, but not seeing that right now. So let's head back and see if we can find some bird tracks, and we'll do our science experiment. Anybody have any questions or observations or fascinating tidbits? What about the turkey tracks, says Amanda. Well, you ask and you shall receive. We'll see what we can find. I'm looking on the ground here as we walk to see if there's any over here, but we did find some over by the building, so we're going to head back.
There were some in the snow a while ago.
There were some in the snow a while ago, and that wasn't even that long ago.
No?
Pheasants or quails, asks Phyllis. Hi, Phyllis. So we have bob whites out here, and I was just going to look and see. Oh, there's a little bit of mud over here. Let's see if there's any tracks. We have bob whites out here, and we did release some pheasants a couple years ago, but
There's some
we haven't seen them. Here's some deer tracks. See that right there? The two toes. It was walking that way. And I think there's some of, I'll come back and see those because I think I'm seeing some little raccoon tracks. Oh, here's some good mud. Look at this. Okay, so there's some good deer tracks. And here's a bunch of songbird tracks. I don't know how well you can see them, but see the little lines in the mud? Those are all from songbirds that don't make as much of an indentation because they are so light. Lots of deer tracks. Look at that, that's cool. And Maria said she saw some raccoon tracks. Oh, here's some really nice deer tracks. Cool, beautiful. Walked right through that muddy spot just for us.
I have to say hi, Yitzel.
Oh, Yitzel. Hi, let's go find these raccoon tracks and then we'll show you some wild turkey tracks. Oh, those are good raccoon tracks. There's Maria, she spotted these. These look like little baby handprints with 5 fingers. The deer tracks have how many? They have 2. These have 5, like a human hand. And how many do birds have, do you know? They have 3 toes. 3 toes in front, sometimes 1 in the back. Oh, I just heard a robin. Where is it? See the buds on the tree?
So pretty.
Starting to come out. Spring. Oh, there's a bluebird. Oh, I don't know if you could see it. I just saw a bluebird. Here goes a robin flying across. See it land in that tree?
I didn't see the bluebird.
That's the first bluebird I've seen in a long time. I'm getting closer to the robin. It's probably going to fly away again. Oh, there goes a junco. There goes a robin and a junco. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Love it. I hope earlier you could see the hawks and the turkey vulture. I really thought they would hang around, and now I haven't seen them again since then. Darn it. Oh, here's, I think, a junco in the lilac. Hi, Kathy. I know I haven't said hi to everybody because I'm trying to watch where I'm walking. There's something in the lilac straight ahead. I'm going to see if I can zoom in. There it is. It's a goldfinch. No? What are you? So sometimes birders will say, that's an LGB, which stands for little gray bird. Okay, we are headed toward turkey tracks. Maria spotted them earlier and we had some great ones in the snow a while back. But luckily the snow is gone today. Hopefully it doesn't come back. We will see. Here we go to the turkey tracks. They like to come over by the building and look at themselves in the reflection of our windows. And I will catch them preening and strutting. Look at that. See the turkey tracks? I'm going to get right on top of them so you can see the 3 toes. That one's really a good one. Now these are big. Maria, will you put your hand right down there next to it? That's as big as Maria's hand. These birds are big and they're kind of silly. They're smart. And they were almost the American bird. Did you know that? Instead of the eagle? At one point, that one, they look like they're fat, but I think it was just muddier there.
Yeah.
And more deer tracks, I think, there. Cool. Yeah, so the eagle is our national bird, but there was a time when it looked like it might be the wild turkey. We are going to go inside now and do a science experiment. I'm not going to show you the messy classroom because we've got lots of stuff going on. Whew, okay, here we are inside out of the wind. I bet it sounds really different. And I am actually going to, sorry about the camera movement for a second here. I'm going to try and set this up so that you can see our table where we're going to do our science experiment on birds' beaks. And that didn't work at all. Let's see. Oh, that's because I have it the other way. Sorry, I was showing you the ceiling. Like I said, we've never done this before. I am learning Facebook Live. Okay, so check that out. How cool is that, right? So these are birds' beaks that are birds' skulls, that were given to us by Jay Cattle, who is a licensed skull collector. Now, it's actually not legal to collect your own skulls, but when a licensed collector has them and gives them to somebody like us for educational purposes, it is okay. So, we've got a whole variety of skulls here that I'm going to show you up close. I'm going to take it out of our selfie stick for a second here. And I'm going to turn it around. So here we go. Those three have bills. And you can see that they look a little bit like ducks. And that one looks a little bit like a goose. So it has a rounded beak. It's not pointed. These are even more rounded. Wah, wah. Sorry. And I will tell you that none of these birds were harmed by humans just to get the skulls. These are birds that died naturally, and scientists collect them. So it's all fine. Nobody harmed these birds. It's part of the natural cycle of life, and it's something that we can use to learn about science and teach about different adaptations that birds and animals have. So these birds weren't harmed by humans. They lived a natural life, and then they were collected for science. So more ducks. These are blue-winged teals, and I actually saw these in our pond here the other day. And that mallard duck I also saw out there. I also saw a northern shoveler, which we'll talk about a little bit later. This is that yellow shafted flicker, which is the woodpecker that I showed you and talked about the tongue. This tiny little one is a mourning dove. You can hear them in town a lot going, coo, coo. Junco, we just saw a couple of those flying. This is a tiny little house wren. That is an even tinier goldfinch. See how small it is compared to the other ones? Look at that. Pretty cool, right? And there's other various songbirds, like the sparrow. Here's that cardinal. You can just imagine that with the feathers on its head, right? Pretty. Here's a crow. This one is a cormorant. Look at that beak. They eat fish, and you can tell that that kind of looks like a fish hook, right? And now this one, look at that hook. That is a red-tailed hawk, just like what we saw flying overhead at the beginning of, or just when we finished our book. And that's a kind of raptor. It's a bird of prey, and that sharp beak helps it capture mice and voles and shrews and things like that. This one is a woodpecker right there. And I think that's everybody. So what we're going to do is look at some experiments that you're going to help me with to figure out which one of these items might most represent a bird's beak to eat the food that would be part of their diet. So bear with me for a second here as I set this up so that we can be hands-free. Thanks again, if I haven't said it lately. This is so fun to have you here. We've still got more than 50 people watching with us, and we are just thrilled to have you on our virtual field trip, the first one ever.
50 peeps.
50 peeps at Prairie Loft. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this experiment where there's an item that represents a food source, and there are some tools that represent shapes of different beaks. We saw beaks in our book, we saw beaks in the bird skulls, and we're going to experiment to see which one is the most likely bird beak. How does that look? That's better. Bird beak style to get that food. So this looks like a flower with nectar in it. There's even a flower on it. And if you remember from that book, we had a hummingbird, right? Who liked to get the nectar out of a flower. So would this be the kind of beak it would use?
Nectar's the sweet juice inside.
Yes, thank you, Maria. Nectar is the sweet juice of flowers, like a honeysuckle, you can picture that, or a morning glory, funnel-shaped flowers like that. So, does that one work? Not so much. Oh, Jennifer says, thanks for hitting the first grade science standards.
You're welcome.
We tried. And maybe tweezers. Can we get to the nectar in there? No drops.
Are they wet?
No drops.
No drops.
That doesn't work. How about a straw? Oh,
Watch.
look at that. I got the nectar.
The straw is like a hummingbird beak.
I bet you guessed that. I love the sound effects. Thanks, Kathy. All right, so now we're going to move on to another station where we have fish swimming
There you go.
in water. Let's see if you can see that. There we go. See the fish? There's some at the bottom, and there's some swimming around there. Oh, there's a frog. Rabbit, rabbit. It's hanging out on the edge, although it might not want to because there's a bird beak that's about to come get its lunch. So we'll see what happens here. So these tools that we have to choose from are chopsticks, a straw, and a slotted spoon. Now, we're trying to get these fish out of the water. So, do you think the straw will work? I'm a bird, I'm a hungry bird. I can't get the fish. It's not gonna work. But remember, that's a hummingbird. They don't eat fish. How about chopsticks? That fish would just swim right away. And I'm not very good at chopsticks anyway. Oh, I got one. But
Slippery.
too slippery. So that's not gonna work either. But if I have a big beak like a shovel and I'm swimming along the top of the water and I go, whoop, that fish is going nowhere.
It worked.
It worked. I got that fish. And that is like the bill of a shoveler duck. This is a mallard, so it's not actually a shoveler duck. Shoveler ducks have more of a bowl-shaped bill on the bottom, so they can just scoop the fish right up, just like that. Pretty cool. And you know what? I just lied. That wasn't a shoveler duck. I'm so sorry. That was a pelican. That was a pelican. Big fish.
Big fish gets that.
Big fish. We'll see a shoveler duck later. That's a pelican. I'm so sorry. Great teaching, Amy. Good job. Okay, moving on. We've got some tiny plants and animals floating in the water. Now, those fish were pretty big.
You can see it, I can't.
And that pelican is also a big bird. So these little fish swimming in the water are probably going to take a smaller bird's beak. Lily says you are silly. I knew that. Logan, you were right. Good job. So here we've got these tiny little, and I am a really hungry bird. So here I come with this huge beak trying to get these tiny fish. Now a bird with this big of a beak is going to be a big bird. How many of those tiny little things would it have to eat to come get full, right? It might get one or two, but it would only eat all day, never sleep, never sing, never hang out with its friends. So that's probably not the right tool. This one is a Nutcracker, and it's used for grabbing things with hard shells and cracking open the meat inside. Squeezing them hard. And it's not even coming close.
You're not getting anything.
I'm not getting anything with that Nutcracker, so that's not going to work. So we've got one more tool to try. And I bet, because I messed up on the last one, you probably know what this one is used for. Remember how I talked about that shoveler duck? Here's the shovel. There's the bill.
That's a lot.
That's a nice mouthful of food for a shoveler duck. Pretty cool. So, shoveler duck eats tiny plants and animals floating in the water as it swims around. We've got 3 more. Here we've got little tiny worms, larvae, insects in holes in wood. Remember how we talked about the woodpecker? That is what this represents. So here we have huge tongs again. Now these are really big. That would be like, probably like our great blue heron or a sandhill crane or something like that. Would they eat rice out of holes in trees? No, they would not.
Can't even get anything.
Can't get a single one.
Not even off the table.
Oh, I got one off the table, but that wasn't even fair because it wasn't a hole in the tree, so that doesn't work.
That's not going to feed a good bird.
Nope, so that doesn't work. And then we've got a fishing net that would be more like this one in the water, right? Oh, I just lost food. They just flew away. Those bugs are not going to be my lunch. But if I have a forked tongue that can reach into that hole and make a grab, then I can get those larvae and baby, which is young immature bugs, right? And beetles and all kinds of things from inside the holes in that wood. And that's like the forked tongue of a woodpecker. Cool, right? 2 more. Now we've got seeds with hard coverings here. And we're using peanuts. This is, you could think of this as sunflower seeds too, right? Because birds' beaks are smaller than this, sunflower seeds are smaller than that, so it's a relative size. And here we go. So we've got the tweezers, which we just discovered was like the forked tongue of a woodpecker. We've got the straw, which you discovered is like the beak of a hummingbird. Wow, you've learned a lot. And a nutcracker, which is that tool that cracks open hard shells. I bet you've already figured it out. So the tweezer
Not so good.
doesn't work.
You could poke holes in it.
Yeah, but it would take more energy than I would get from the food that I'm eating. The straw is an obvious wrong choice.
There's no liquid.
Right. Yeah, you can't suck anything out of that peanut. That's not going to work. So obviously, and I'm sure you figured this out a long time ago, the nutcracker, which Stephanie figured out, if I'm a bird with a strong beak and I pick up a nut and crack it open, oh, delicious. Look at that. Look at that peanut meat.
There's the good stuff.
Right there. That would make a bird very happy. So this is like that grosbeak that we saw in the book, or like a finch, goldfinch, or a lot of the birds that you see at your bird feeder eating those sunflower seeds and bird seed right out of your feeder in your yard. They have strong beaks to crack open hard shells. And finally, we have one last one. These have lost their tails, but they are representative of little mice. right? And so you know a lot of these beaks already. In fact, I might switch this out because we're really good at a couple of these. I'm going to do this one. Nope, we've got
Already
one
have
else.
that one.
We're going to do this one. So, again, thinking about the relative size of the beak and the bird against the food, we've got chopsticks, which would be a little beak trying to grab
A bigger critter.
a bigger critter.
For that size of beak.
Yeah, that would be really tough, and it's just dull at the end, so it would work best for things that are small, soft, and easy to eat. That doesn't work. This we already learned was for the shoveler duck. Ducks don't eat mice. What? That's obviously not going to work. And the mice would just run away. But, dun, dun, dun. If a raptor, which is a bird of prey, like a hawk or an eagle or falcon.
Ollie says don't use the knife, it's sharp.
Thank you, Ollie. When we do this with kids, I will just let you all know we have a toy knife. And it's actually hard to get the answer right because the knife doesn't do anything. But because it's just us, I'm going to pretend to be the beak of a hawk or an eagle or a merlin or a kestrel. All of those are kinds of raptors, birds of prey that live around here. And they could grab and stab.
And tear it apart.
And tear it apart with that beak. And that's the kind of sharp beak that would eat a small prey animal. Here's that red-tailed hawk beak again. See how it's got that sharp point on the end? And this doesn't have the bottom beak. And I will say again, these skulls, if you didn't hear me say it before, these were birds that lived a natural life, and scientists kept the skulls, and they were given to us for education purposes. Good job with this experiment. Now I'm going to take this out. We've got about 5 minutes left. Thank you for sticking with us because we're going to tell you what you can do at home. I'm going to flip this around. Hello. And these are things that you can do at home. Oh, I'm going to go like this because our classroom is so messy. I don't want to show you what it looks like. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Maria. Show us what you got.
This is an oriole nest. Now, we did not take it out of the tree. It fell down, but it's really cool. The bird was all done with it. So it fell down, but orioles build these nests in the trees like this. It's like a purse. And then the babies, they have their babies inside, and they live inside right like that. Can you see inside there?
Yep, it's like a little soft cradle for eggs and baby birds.
And here's another one. This one doesn't have the sticks on it.
But you can tell it was made with a different kind of fiber. And there's even, if you look closely, there's even baling twine in that nest. Cool, right? Mm-hmm. And can you imagine being a bird and making your own home every year with only a beak and feet? You'd have to work really hard to do that and do it every year.
No, I'm not sure what this one is.
I'm guessing sparrow.
It's small.
It's
Do you know how
tiny.
big it is?
Yep.
So it does have a little bit. Again, we did not do this. This fell out.
Yep.
got it.
We find these and
We
keep
find
them.
them. Same with this one. This one was a robin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The backside, but
Look at that sturdy, sturdy mud. Even people around the world make homes from mud and have for a long time. And those are broken robin eggs that we found on the ground broken too. See that pretty robin's egg blue?
now this one, a friend of ours brought in. Again, it has. You can tell where it was built on a ladder, right?
Yep.
It was a ladder, so it's got that. They used the mud right there. But look at the inside.
Look how smooth that is, like a bowl. And this was, the ladder was hanging sideways on the shed, and you can see the shape of the edge of that ladder.
Now, we just found this one today.
This is so cool.
Amy loves this one because look at what they used, the bird used to make that nest. Any guesses on what that is?
That is snake skin. Isn't that cool?
And it has a plastic bag in it. It had a tag in it that came out of it. It's a loose, very loose nest.
Yeah, it's pretty messy. This was definitely not a good housekeeper, this
But it
bird.
had leaves in it, things like that.
Amanda says, why a ladder? I think it was just a ladder stored on the side of a shed that he hadn't used very often. And, oh, look, there's a spider that just came out of that nest. And this also, I thought this was cool. It's also got some sort of label, something written in Spanish. This bird, I don't know, not an architect, but a very creative builder. And this I found on a walk the other day. I don't know if you know what that is, but owls, it's not a nest, and it's not a beak. You can see some bones in it, right? This is an owl pellet. And owls actually regurgitate their waste. So they definitely, yeah, cool, right? They digest all the good stuff that gives them calories and energy, and then they actually cough up like a fur ball, essentially.
Whatever they ate.
Yeah, and so the fur and the bones don't give them any energy or nutrients that they can use. So that's what comes out in this tight little bundle that they cough up. It's an owl pellet, again, for those of you who just joined. And I found this, you can find them at the base of trees where owls hang out. And I was on a walk the other day and came across this one with all those tiny little bones, probably from small birds, but mostly rodents. And if we were to tear it apart, we could maybe put the skeleton back together. Pretty cool. A lot of cool things you can find when you're walking outside and paying really close attention. Remember to look up, remember to look down, remember to be quiet, and you'll see more stuff. Okay. Now we've got an activity for you to do at home.
Something you can do at home. This is the final product. All it takes is a lunch sack, if you have any. Doesn't really matter the color, but all you take is, you can do it however you want. There's no scientific method. Crunch it down.
And be sure to pull it out from the middle as you crunch it down. So take your thumbs and pull outward as you make your nest.
There you go. Got a good nest. That's it. And then all you do is get outside and collect some sticks, some grass, because look, that's what all these are. Sticks and grass. If you want to put mud in, that's up to you.
Yeah. Maybe ask a grown-up first.
And then these are just clay, or you could use Play-Doh, but we made eggs and just roll them in a ball and make your eggs.
And if you don't have clay or Play-Doh, you could even make a fancy sparkly egg out of tin foil, or you could fashion one out of paper or cheese. I don't know.
An unmatched sock. Put in a ball. It might be a big egg, depending on how big your feet are.
See, we just get creative here at Prairie Loft. You never know. Kathy asked what kind of bird used the snake skin. I don't know. It's about the size of a robin's nest, and that would be my best guess. Where's that snake skin? There it is. Right there. But it's the messiest nest I've ever seen. Now, it's been there all winter, so it might not have been built that messy. There's a pink ribbon in there. There's some, those are probably grasses and maybe daylily leaves, because it was in the daylily area. So pretty crazy. So, hi Caroline. So we've got, I think we are at the end of our field trip. So I'm going to walk out this door because we want to end outside. It's so nice. And I'm going to turn this around. There's a bird right there. So here we are again outside. What a beautiful day. As soon as we're done, I encourage you to go outside and visit your yard and look for birds outside. I'm going to be quiet for a second because I'm hearing... Sorry, my hand was over the microphone, and then my hand was over the camera. Dear. Amanda says, I read that robins use snake skins. Awesome. See, I love that we learn this stuff. I don't know if you can hear the robins right now, but they are singing a little bit. And check out, after you go outside and enjoy this beautiful day, check out Audubon for Kids. They have some amazing resources. It's a treasure trove right now with all kinds of activities for kids of all ages about birds. That's their month's theme right now, and it's amazing. There's also lots on the Fish and Wildlife Service website from Nebraska, and all kinds of other things too. Those are good ones to check out today. So try Audubon for Kids, make a bird nest at home, go outside, sit quietly, and look for birds, and I just dropped the phone, and signs of birds. And thank you so much for joining us. This has been so much fun. Our first ever Facebook Live virtual field trip.
It is the next best thing than having you here.
It is. We miss you terribly. We are so glad you joined us today, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Watch our Facebook page. We will announce when we're going to do it again next week when we have another nice day, and hopefully several times a week. So thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful day. Go outside. Be safe. Be well. Take care of yourself and each other, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.